When a relationship starts out on the wrong track, it can be next to impossible to get it back on course. On today's case, Mrs. Flores says that her marriage started with a lie and only went downhill from there. She says her husband, Mr. Flores, is a disrespectful control freak with a penchant for humiliating her in public. Now, she's had enough, and she's ready to take back her life here in divorce court. Let's hear their case.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Starr presiding. Your Honor, this is the case of Flores versus Flores.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Flores and Mr. Flores. Mrs. Flores, you are here in court today because you say you're at your wit's end. You say you are unhappy in this marriage because your husband is controlling, disrespectful, and a liar. You say you're ready for a divorce.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Flores, you say you're here to save your marriage. You acknowledge that you've hit some rocky patches in your relationship, but you feel it doesn't warrant breaking up your family.
Yes, Your Honor.
So Mrs. Flores says that she's done. Mrs. Flores, why are we in court today?
I'm here to get a divorce, Your Honor.
Uh-oh.
Because I've had it. I'm done. I'm exhausted. My husband is a liar. He's controlling, and he's disrespectful to me. On top of that, our families don't approve of our marriage anyways.
So you all have been married now for 2 years. You've been together 3.5 years, and you do have a little boy together. And so there's some stakes here. Mr. Flores, what do you say to your wife's allegations?
I'm here because I want to save our marriage. I love my wife. I love our kids. I love the family that I've built here.
And you say you're not ready to throw in the towel, sir.
I'm not ready.
Okay, so I want you to take me back a little bit. Tell me about how y'all met and what brought you to this point in divorce court today, Mrs. Flores.
Yes, Your Honor. So we met at work, actually, and he had been there for a while, so he was training me. And he had a girlfriend at the time, and I wasn't looking for a relationship or anything, so I didn't pay much attention to it. We took a day off work, and we went on a road trip, and he asked me for a kiss, and he told me he had broken up with his girlfriend. I didn't feel comfortable with it, so I said no. And then we reconnected. We actually stopped talking, and we reconnected 3 months later, a little bit before his birthday. So I got him a nice gift. We made it official a month later. We moved in 3 months later and got married a year later.
So you actually did do some dating? Did you try to get to know him before you jumped into a whole living arrangement?
No, I figured we would just get to know each other. You don't really know somebody well until you live with them.
Yeah, well, actually, you can do some dating. I mean, I'm looking at your age. You are 22 now.
Yeah.
So that means you were just legal, 18, 19 years old when you started dating, Mr. Flores. Am I correct?
Yeah, and I agree. I do feel like we jumped into this too soon.
Yeah, because you didn't even have time to have a bunch of boyfriends.
Yeah, and with the Latino culture, it was also going to be hard to just date for a while as well. We just felt pressured to get married.
That seems like the older Latino culture rather than the younger Latino culture.
Yeah, our parents.
Yes, I mean, it sounds like something that your parents and your grandparents might have thought, that you could just go out and date a nice gentleman and get to know who he is. Mr. Flores, were you ready for a whole committed relationship with marriage and children? And you were only 24 years old.
I proposed to her because I loved her. I love her. That's why I took the decision to propose to her.
You know, 3.5 years later, now we're talking about divorce, but there's a baby involved.
Yeah.
Ms. Flores, why are you here today? What has happened in your marriage to make you go from, in my culture, you married the person that you fall in love with, to I want him out of my life?
Yes, Your Honor, but he's a liar.
Uh-oh.
So when we announced that we were getting married, he told me that a coworker had offered a monetary gift for our wedding.
Oh, now that's traditional. I like that.
Yeah, a monetary gift, and he went to go pick it up. The park was about 7 minutes away where they were going to meet, and he took 3 hours there. And he came back empty-handed. He said that, the person didn't have the money. A couple months later, I did some digging, and I found out that he had been flirting with his coworker from work, and it was actually a girl.
So in other words, the same way he met you?
Yeah.
I object, Your Honor.
To what?
That's not what really happened.
Okay.
The coworker texted me saying, hey, do you want to come pick up the money since you're close by? I was like, yes, I'll talk to my fiance. She's like, yes, go ahead, but take our daughter with you. So I took her, and it was no more than an hour, Your Honor.
How did she know you were close by in the first
Did you
place?
take your baby to go meet another woman?
I didn't go meet another woman. I went to see a coworker that she was going to give us money.
And what happened?
I went, and I said, I'm here to pick up the money. He's like, okay, well, let me tell you, I was rushing here because it was my brother's soccer game, and I did not take the money. I was like, okay, no problem.
Well, you must have stayed to watch the soccer game
I
because
did
it
not
took you
stay
forever.
to
Okay,
watch the
Mr.
soccer
Flores,
game.
20-second timeout. I just want to know this. Why would the person text you that she had money to give you if she didn't actually have the money with her? That sounds nefarious.
That's exactly what I asked him, and he wouldn't tell me anything else.
So let's ask him again. What was that about, Mr. Flores? Because that whole story sounds like a lie.
Nothing actually happened, Your Honor. I had my daughter. There was no way anything could happen because our daughter speaks. She would have come and told her mom everything what happened
But
right
why
then and there.
didn't this other person have the money? What happened?
She said she was in a rush and she didn't put it in the car. When
So
she
why
left.
would she tell you to come meet her in the first place? And my daughter speaks now, but she didn't speak then.
You know what? That right there is some BS. Either you were planning on meeting this chick or she was planning on meeting you. But it was not about transferring any money.
And that's not all, Your Honor. He's disrespectful. We were at his family's birthday party, I think it was, and I was pregnant with my son at the moment, and my daughter needed a diaper change. We had ran out of diapers because we had been there so long. And he was drinking with his family. I was pregnant, so obviously I wasn't drinking and I was tired. It was like 12 a.m., 1 a.m., and I was ready to go home. And he was like, oh, what's wrong? Why do you have a face on? And I was like, I'm ready to go and my baby needs a diaper change. We started arguing, and in the middle of that, he called me a big fat B. And now, since then, he's felt like it's okay to call me that in almost every argument.
No bueno.
One time, we were at a gathering with some friends and we were getting some ice cream, and he threw my ice cream on the floor and my dog ate it.
It just slipped out, and all she saw was me dropping the ice cream, and the dog ate in it. She pays more attention to the dog. The dogs don't belong in the cars.
My dog's loyal, okay? You're
They
not.
belong in the streets.
You in America now. Dogs stay in the house. But that's not an excuse to throw something at the woman.
I object, Your Honor.
To what?
She's actually lying, Your Honor. I didn't get to see my family in a long time, Your Honor.
Okay, she did. I didn't hear her say one word about you not seeing your family. I'm talking about, did you call your wife, the mother of your children, a big fat B?
While I was pregnant. And that's disrespectful. That made me feel so
Miss
disrespectful.
Flores, just hold on. Mr. Flores, did that occur?
Yes, Your Honor. I was so frustrated. It
So
slipped
what
out,
part was
and-
the lie? What was the lie?
I apologized to her.
No,
the next day,
that we weren't even at that point. You just said she's lying. What did she lie about?
she lied about not having diapers, Your Honor.
I don't care if she's lying or not. Why would you call her out of her name? Why would you do that?
I said I'm sorry, and I gave her flowers, Your Honor.
Okay, guess what? That don't work with me. Just because someone tells you they're sorry does not mean it hurt any less.
And I don't want my son and daughter to hear that. I don't want them to think it's okay that he calls me that, especially my son. And on top of that, that's not the only disrespect my kids have seen. They also saw that one time we were at a gathering with some friends and we were getting some ice cream. And my daughter was trying to give him a kiss and he didn't see her. So I kept calling his name and I was like, hey, look at my baby. And he came up to me and he's like, shut up. And he was walking back with some ice cream and he threw my ice cream on the floor and my dog ate it.
Mr. Flores, what's that about?
Okay. She saw me juggling. I was coming juggling with 4
You
ice
threw
creams.
it. You clearly threw it.
Can I speak, please?
Go ahead, but you threw
I
it.
was juggling with ice creams on my hand. I was trying to give it to her, and it slipped out. She was paying more attention to her dog than me, coming with 4 ice creams, 2 for us and 2 for our kids. It just slipped out, and all she saw was me dropping the ice cream onto the floor, and the dog ate in it. She pays more attention to the dog. Where I'm from Mexico. The dogs don't belong in the cars.
My
They
dog's
belong-
loyal, okay? You're
They
not.
belong in the streets, in the backyard. They don't sleep in the beds. This one does.
Do you all live in Mexico?
No, Your
So
Honor.
guess what? You in America now. Dogs stay in the house. But that's not an excuse to throw something at the woman.
I didn't throw it. It
You
slipped
believe
out.
it slipped.
Yes, I
I saw
was
him
with.
throw it. I had the kids and the dog, and he never asks for help.
I object. She was locked up in the car with the windows up. How am she gonna hear me?
How do you guys communicate with each other? Because it does not sound like you all are friends in the least bit.
His family has been disrespectful to me. My sibling told me that she heard that his had been disrespecting my name in front of him, that whore you married or the B you live with. And he said that he just looked at him and put his head down and didn't say anything.
I object, Your Honor. That was not true.
If you'd like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Missed a show? Watch full episodes on our streaming platforms and follow us on social media for exclusive content.
And on top of all of that, Your Honor, he's controlling. So we had a play date scheduled for our daughter, and it was a hot day, so I threw on a tank top with, like, you know, a little built-in bra, and he was like, oh, you're not going out like that. And I was like, excuse me? He was like, no, I can see everything. And I'm like, okay, well, this is comfortable, and this is what I like to wear. And plus, all my bras were still in the laundry. And they're uncomfortable. I explained it to him, and I wasn't trying to start an argument, but he was like, nope, we're not going. He called the lady that we had the play date with and told her that I was dressed inappropriately on top of that. You know how embarrassing that was?
Mr. Flores, what is that about?
I object, Your Honor. She was dressed inappropriately. She has spaghetti, string shirts. Her things were popping out.
My things? I'm a woman, and I can put on whatever
I don't like when
people
could see everything, Your Honor, and
Mr.
I
Flores,
dislike that.
wait, Mr. Flores, when do you start telling Mrs. Flores what she can and cannot do in terms of how she looks? Excuse me, you're not her father?
Exactly. I don't tell you how to dress. You can't dress, and I don't tell you what to put on, what boxers to put on, what pants to put on, what shoes to put on, and you do, and I'm tired of it. I've had it.
I object, Your Honor. I just don't want my wife to look like that.
And your wife doesn't want her husband to call her out of her name. So you don't get to make all of the decisions in your family. That's not how it works.
We're supposed to be a team, and that's exactly what we're not.
You know, I'm still trying to figure out where the love is. The two of you, quite frankly, don't know how to communicate with each other because you don't like each other. You are looking for a wife that's just going to do what you tell her to do. And you are looking for a husband who is going to communicate with you as an equal, but you're not acting like an equal. I have no idea why the two of you ended up getting married, why you just didn't date, because you didn't really get to know each other. You have zero in common with how you want to run a family. You think you're the king of the castle, and you're not in the mood to be subservient. Which, by the way, either one of you can be right, but the two of you can't be right together. That just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, Your Honor, he doesn't stand up for me. His family has been disrespectful to me on several occasions, and he's never stood up for me. So our family works together, and his works with the family, of course. And my sibling told me that she heard that had been disrespecting my name in front of him, and he didn't say anything. He said, oh, that whore you married or the B you live with. And he said that he just looked at him and put his head down and didn't say anything.
I object, Your Honor. That was not true. She just said her sister told her. Her sister doesn't work with us. 90% of the time that I work, I'm always driving. I'm either picking up material, going dumping things, always in the road. I don't know what happens. I don't hear because I'm never in the work site.
Mr. Flores, I don't care about any of this. All I want to know is why in the world does your wife think that you don't have her back?
Look at him acting all innocent. Act like you act at home.
How's her sister gonna tell her that my family member said something like that when she doesn't even work there?
Why would my sister lie about something like that? Look,
I have no idea because I don't know the dynamic of your family, but I'm about to ask because I actually have a witness that you have brought to court today. Michelle Ramirez, who is that?
My sister, Your Honor.
Let me hear from your sister. But she can't be here in person, but she certainly can join us virtually. Ms. Ramirez, you are Mrs. Flores' sister. What does the family, your family, think of Mr. Flores and Mrs. Flores as a couple?
Your Honor, they shouldn't be a couple.
That's very blunt.
This is the beginning. I was the one to find out, the first one to find out that he had a girlfriend before they even started dating. And then he leaves the girlfriend for her. Like you said, what makes you think he's not going to do the same for her?
Absolutely.
I was taken back, and I was like, that is a red flag.
Has your sister expressed her feelings about Mr. Flores to you?
Yes, all the time.
What has she said?
She is always overwhelmed. She is stressed. He never helps her with the kids. And I tell her all the time, you have to let him know. And she does, but he still decides to not help with the kids. Every time he comes over, he's just sitting there, and the kids are stressing her out. And I'm like, why is he not helping you? And she's like, he does this all the time. I'm always tired, and I'm always stressed, and he does this all the time.
Why do you think Mr. Flores is so controlling of Mrs. Flores and her behavior? Has anything occurred in their relationship that would make him like that?
I ask myself that all the time.
Do you think that Mr. Flores can actually change his behavior? Because what you've described sounds extremely passive-aggressive and bordering on abusive.
That's what I said, Your Honor. I did not approve of their marriage since the beginning. I told her I do not approve of it. She was so happy, and I was like, no. You had all these red flags since the beginning, and this is absurd.
So I hear exactly what you're saying, and you're saying that the red flags have not stopped. Thank you, Ms. Ramirez. I appreciate your input. Ms. Flores, your sister says red flags from the beginning, and they have just continued. You are stressed beyond belief right now.
This is why I'm here to get this divorce today, Your Honor. I need to get this divorce today. I submitted evidence where I cut my hair off because I was so stressed.
Wait a minute, you cut your hair off?
I had long, beautiful hair, Your Honor, that I used to take care of. That girl in that video that he married, that's not her anymore. I've changed and I'm
Wow.
Look at that beautiful hair, Your Honor. Look at that beautiful hair.
But I'm not her anymore. I'm done being controlled. I'm done being disrespected. I'm taking control over my life without him. I don't want him in my life, and I need this divorce today.
Mr. Flores, I would like to see that picture again, please.
And I submitted the video of me cutting my hair as well. Everything that was built up inside of me, I completely just chopped it off. Everything to the trash because I'm done.
Mr. Flores, I am looking at this divorce agreement. I can't make you sign it, but your wife is done. And anybody that feels desperate enough to completely chop her own hair off is screaming out in pain that she is tired of you.
I object, Your Honor. She didn't even tell me that she was going to do that, Your Honor.
Because she did it for herself.
I was trying to talk to her, Your Honor. She went and locked herself up in the bathroom for more than an hour.
You want to know why, Mr. Flores?
The kids and I were worried.
Mr. Flores, would you like me to tell you why? I can tell you why. Mrs. Flores says that the little vulnerable girl that fell for you no longer exists. She's not going to be some doll that you put on a shelf and tell what to do. You are no longer going to be pulling her strings. She has made a determination that she is valuable and she does not need you to be a whole person.
I love you.
Mrs. Flores,
and I beg
did
for
I
you.
summarize that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Robert, serve the papers.
Ma, I love you. And I beg for you.
No, this is
I love
exactly.
you.
Flores, you've been served.
I cannot make him sign those papers, but I can provide you with the transcript that he has been served. You can start your divorce proceedings. Mr. Flores, you lost your wife. You want to know why? Because you thought you were going to tell her what to do for the rest of her life. And she just told you, not today, buddy.
I don't want to divorce her, Your
Thank you, Your
Honor.
Honor.
Not today, buddy. Go on with your life.
Ma, I don't want this to end.
Nope, I'm done.
I love
no,
you. I'll beg for you, Mama.
No,
No,
I'm
Chaparra,
done.
no.
Nope.
I love you, though.
I'm
I
done.
love. Don't do this to
No.
us and our kids.
Nope, the divorce has been- the divorce
For
papers
the
have been
family
served.
we've done.
No, sir.
Robert, she found her voice.
Let me tell you, me being a father, I'm so glad that she found her voice, and that's something I would teach my daughter. Understand some of those Latin cultures back in the day, prehistoric ages and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
when the dinosaurs roamed the world.
Yeah, she broke through that, and I made sure that my daughter didn't even hear about those days.
Bravo, Mrs. Flores. Bravo.
Made in Georgia.